So you know when you buy something online and it seems like it's going to be great, and then you get it and it's like, oh, that's nothing like what I thought it was going to be? Well, that's exactly how I felt with this KWC Luger. It looked fantastic online, the pictures made it look fantastic, and then I got it and felt it, and it just was so uncomfortable, and I just was not a fan of it. But just like any other gun, I had to go out and try it, so I loaded some BBs into it, and that was a fun process right there. Normally you have a much bigger space to put the BBs in, but with this it was just a little hole at the bottom of the magazine, which I'm not a huge fan of because it's kind of difficult to see how many BBs you have in there, but it's a unique gun, so it'll suffice. And shooting it was incredibly fun. As I'm sure you saw in the intro, the blowback is very unique. Normally with a gun you have the slide, and every time you press the trigger, it goes back, and that's what you expect. But for this, it had a, you know what, I'll just put a slow motion video right up here so that you can see exactly how it works. Isn't that fantastic? And it's weird because since it has that, you would think that it would use a little bit less CO2 than your standard 1911 Glock, whatever, but it doesn't. I was only able to get about 3 magazines out of this, and each magazine only holds about 16 to 18 BBs, so not very CO2 efficient, which was kind of surprising. Now, accuracy was actually very good. It was better than most 1911s, most Glocks. It was better than actually just about every other gun in its price range, which was actually pretty surprising. Now, as far as I am aware, upgrades are going to be pretty scarce on this, so you're gonna have to keep it pretty stock. Now, I took this down to the chrono, and results were a little slower than I was expecting, with about 350 feet per second. Usually with CO2 guns, you're going to see around 400 feet per second, but this is still alright for most outdoor uses. Something that was a little bit of a concern was that the magazine capacity is very small. I can't really tell if it's single stacked or double stacked because it does just have a little hole on the bottom, so you can't actually see the BBs like on most normal guns, but it definitely did not hold nearly as many BBs as your Glock or High Kappa or CZ-P09, etc. Now that said, this gun is not really meant to be used competitively. If you want a gun that you can use competitively, go ahead and get a Glock or a High Kappa, something that has a little bit more magazine capacity and has more availability with upgradable parts. Now, something that I do want to talk about is the trigger. You know how with the 1911 trigger, it is incredibly short and crisp, and it makes follow-up shots incredibly easy? Well, with this gun, it has the same length trigger pull as a 1911. Alright, well, maybe not exactly the same, but it's very similar. But it is an incredibly stiff trigger. I'm not entirely sure how many pounds it would take to pull this trigger, but I am guessing it is at least double that of a 1911. I'm not sure why they made it this stiff, but they did. And look at the trigger. Isn't that thing interesting? It goes almost all the way around the trigger guard. Alright, not even close to all the way around, about halfway around, but you get the point. Build materials felt pretty good. The fit and finish was all pretty good and everything. The grips were plastic and they did wobble a little bit, which I was not a huge fan of. Now, as I'm sure you all know, the Luger is most famously used in every World War II movie ever. Yep, that's all I got for you. Okay, now, the final thoughts are this gun is not made to be your first gas blowback gun. If you don't have a gas blowback gun, don't get this. Go get something that you can use a little bit more competitively, unless you just love the way that this thing looks and you just love older guns, World War II style guns, then yeah, go for it. If you already have a gas blowback gun, then I would say that this is a great addition to anyone's collection. Unless you just hate World War II guns, in which case, why are you watching this video? If you enjoyed this video, it would be very helpful if you leave a like, and if you did not like this video, well, you already watched till the end, so I just don't believe you. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.